Hi everyone, this is our team, and today we're going to talk about exponential functions and how to use it in real life situations and with historical events, for example, the Chernobyl disaster in 1986.
Why hasn't it been possible to contain the nuclear energy and substances generated by the nuclear reactor's explosion in Chernobyl in 1986? We think that because the growth of toxicity and gas is exponential, which means it is constantly growing, making it incredibly difficult to try to remove without killing a lot of people in the process. What is that makes nuclear energy to be so dangerous? Radioactivity is what makes the nuclear energy so dangerous. Radioactivity are the particles in which pollute the environment and our organisms, causing sickness or deaths. Why is it said that a nuclear reaction generates an exponential growth of the atoms? We think that because of the nuclear change reaction. It's a process where the neutrons are released in fission to produce an additional fission to at least another nucleus. The first one creates two, and that two creates another two, each one, and so on. When will all the nuclear energy and substances released by this explosion be dissolved? Can they be cleaned out completely? After at least 20,000 years, Chernobyl will be habitated again. This is because the radiation exposure on this site is greater than in any other area before, making it impossible to clean up without consequences.
The accident was caused by an experiment to check if the energy could function as electricity for refrigeration bombs. The reactors failed and caused the reactors to overheat the nucleus and they exploded. The explosion formed a radioactive cloud that affected Europe. The bomb contained uranium, boron carbide, europium oxide, erbium, zirconium alloys, graphite, and gamma rays. After the explosion, many people died. The skin color changed for some people. Headaches, pain, burn skin was green. Some people died because of malfunctioning of the organs. Days after, helicopters threw a mist of sand, boron, and lead. This was useful to absorb the neutrons and gamma rays. A bunker was constructed to stop the radiations. The people that helped in the construction weren't harmed by the radiation, but they eventually died. Some of them couldn't return to their home and families. Around 600,000 young people died in the explosion and afterwards. 200,000 were heavily damaged. 116,000 had to move because of the damage in the region. They couldn't go home, so around that 25% were homeless. 5 million people lived in contaminated areas and there was 400,000 contaminated areas. Around 14 countries in Europe were affected.
One real situation example of exponential growth and decay can be the population, because of with some specific exponential equations we can know how many people will be in a certain place and in a specific period of time. Also, other example can be the economy, because you can know with some specific exponential equations how much money you can obtain in different investments and also in a specific period of time.
Exponential growth is something that is rapidly increasing in proportion to the total number or size. Exponential decay is something that is continuously decreasing in proportion to the rate of the total number or size. The graph for this is f of x to a to the x. The key points for an exponential function are 0, 1 and 1, base.
Nuclear energy is defined as the energy that is in the core of an atom. Nuclear energy has its pros and cons. The advantages are that the nuclear energy produces carbon dioxide and this helps to the emission of greenhouses, and also as an electrical energy generator. Nuclear energy is actually the largest clean air energy source. The disadvantage is that there's a radioactive waste and clearly the nuclear energy is dangerous.
The nuclear energy plant in Mexico is located off the Gulf Coast in Veracruz. We believe the place it is located in at Laguna Verde is set for disasters and it could easily pollute the nearby waters. We believe it is okay for our country to have a nuclear energy plant since it could help the country gain energy in case of crisis.
The Soviet authorities were so hurried to steering the plan that they ignored any safety procedure, and certainly everything went out badly only 3 years later, when finally the regulatory safety were carried out. They had to take into consideration the safety procedure from the beginning. During the first 10 days, most of the radiation was emitted. The condition of temperature in these days provoked that the contamination reached big areas of Scandinavia, Greece, Central and Oriental Europe, south of Germany, the United Kingdom, and some parts of France. But this disaster affected the environment of all the world. A consequence of this disaster was that the radiation affected agricultural areas, plants and animals, and also the persons in the urban areas that had to be relocated.
Nuclear weapons have a very strong impact on the environment. These weapons contaminate the air, water, and other natural resources. Radioactivity affects the water and soil of the environment where it was set, affected by nuclear disasters. Radioactivity usually affects also the organisms that live on the environment where it was set. We really enjoyed working with teammates from different campuses because we were able to see this project in a different perspective because of the difference in our societies. We believe this is going to help us to later on work with people around the world without any difficulties. What we like the most about working like this is the way we treated each other so nicely without not knowing each other before this.